All right, guys. With that down, let's jump over to some UFC for a second here. One of my absolute favorite fighters to watch in the UFC, going back almost more than a decade, is Donald Cowboy Cerrone. Not just because he wore the cowboy hat and you'd see him out on his farm and doing all the stuff that he does, or that he's funny and all that kind of stuff. And not even because of any of that. As a mixed martial artist, this dude was one of the smoothest strikers. He was a rare combination of being an absolutely devastating and smooth striker, very creative striker, and at the same time could dominate fights on the ground. I mean, I haven't looked at the stats to pull him up, but man, that guy had a lot of very cool submissions. And in the streak of late 2013 to 2016, he went on one of the hottest streaks. Like he was fighting, we're in an organization where a lot of guys will fight 2 times a year. He was fighting 4, sometimes 5 times a year. He'd be doing his post-fight interview and goes, "Hey, put me on the card next week. I'm ready to go." Like he was fighting multiple times a week. Between the end of 2013 and the end of 2016, he won 12 of 13 fights. The only loss he had in that streak was to Rafael dos Anjos. And at that time, that wrap up, he was a bad man.
Yep.
There was no shame in that loss. But he came back from that. He beat Alex Oliveira. He beat Patrick the Predator Cote. He beat Matt Brown. I think he retired Matt Brown. I'm not sure about that. He had a lot of marquee wins. Then he retired. And now he is saying, according to this report, Donald Cerrone says he is coming out of retirement at what, 41?
41.
At 41 years of age, Donald Cerrone is coming out of retirement. Why? He says, because I've got 48 professional fights and I really want 50. I really want 50. Now, I love Cowboy. I love this guy and I love watching him fight. He's one of the most singularly entertaining fighters I ever got to watch. But I'm going to tell you right now, there is no way that he should be coming out of retirement. No way. Donald Cerrone has not won a fight since May of 2019 against Al Iaquinta. That was a good fight, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
He failed to win any of his next 7 fights. He lost, I think he was the last guy Tony Ferguson beat. Tony Ferguson hasn't won a fight in like 75 fights. I think, I could be wrong about this, but I think Cerrone was the last guy that Tony Ferguson beat. I might be wrong, but whatever. Then he lost he got knocked out badly against Justin Gaethje. Again, no shame in that. Then he lost to Conor McGregor. No shame in that. Then he lost to Anthony Pettis. Then he had that no contest against Nico Price. Then he lost against Morono or something like that. Then he lost against Jim Miller. And anyway, he's lost. And in a number of those losses, he looked like he was getting hurt. And he was getting hurt badly.
And knocked out. And
he was suffering knockouts and chokeouts and all that kind of stuff. And it just, at a guy who was getting into his 40s, a guy who has fought as many times as he had, and a guy who just couldn't win anymore, I was quite happy and relieved to see one of my favorites take off the gloves, put him down in the ring, and said, "Thanks for the career, everybody." And the guy's a Hall of Famer. But at 41, having not won a fight in over 5 years, being knocked out the amount of times that he has lately, I honestly, I don't want to be pessimistic, but when he says, "Oh, I just want to get to 50," what that sounds like to me is I need a couple of big paychecks.
I was gonna say the same thing.
It sounds to me like I just need a couple of big paychecks. And listen, as much as I'm sitting here saying I don't think he should do this, I'm not going to lie. If Donald Cowboy Cerrone is fighting somewhere, I'm going to go watch. Damn right, I'm going to go watch. Whether he's fighting a nobody or whether he's fighting a marquee name that I know he's going to get knocked out in the first round, I'm going to go see it. So that just kind of proves the point. But I think, I don't know, somebody has got to protect him from himself. I just don't think it's a good idea. Anyway, Ryan, what do you think about the idea of Cowboy Cerrone saying he's going to come out of retirement for 2 more fights?
I mean, I always love watching him fight too.
He's so entertaining.
Exciting, everything, stand his ground, slug it out. I think the fact that you called out he hasn't won a fight in 5 years, and they've all been pretty bad losses.
Yeah.
He did say once he retired, he was going to get on the treatment and testosterone and all that stuff, and then come back to fight maybe. So if he does that, he'd have to go through like their drug program.
Well, listen. Let me read this quote for you. To your point, he said, "So I've been working with Transcend for the last years, taking TRT and a bunch of peptides. Yeah. Now I got a protocol for all you people that, oh, wait, if you get on it, you can't come off it. Well, now I have to come off and piss clean. Fight in a few months. So watch this."
So we'll see how that goes.
That's such a Cowboy Cerrone thing to say.
I know he wants to fight 2 more fights, but what if he gets destroyed in the first one coming back? Are they going to give him another one to get to 50?
Remember, near the end of his career, one of the really cool things to see is near the end of his career, like they had a new baby, and he would he'd come into the ring and they'd have the baby with the big earphones on, and he'd have his kid. Like you see him so happy being a dad. It's like the dude's got a family and children, and I worry.
I don't even know who he would fight. Like his weight class is pretty brutal. Anybody that's
the lightweight
ranked
division right now is he's packed on some weight, so he'd probably move up to welterweight. I'm guessing.
I don't know if he can handle those guys. He's always
I don't think there's anybody he can handle right now.
Yeah, so like who would he fight? Would it be somebody young? Would it be an older legend? Like I don't know.
King Daddy Goat saying Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
that's a little bit of a weight
match.
Weight division difference.
I think people would want to see it. It's just, is it safe for him, and what's the payoff? Like what happens after this first one? Or is there going to be another one? So. Yeah, I think it's more of a payday thing, like you said.
But listen to some of the guys that Donald Cowboy Cerrone has beaten. He beat Matt Brown. Again, we already mentioned Alex Oliveira. He beat Benson Henderson. He had some great stuff with him, actually. He beat Eddie Alvarez, Miles Jury, Jim Miller, Edson Barbosa. He's just Jeremy Stevens.
But all those guys haven't fought so long.
Yeah, I mean, now we're getting into the archives now of the UFC roster, but he's just had some great fights and great wins. I just think he shouldn't come back. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Donald Cowboy Cerrone says he's going to come out of retirement and fight 2 more times. I will be there to see it if he does. I just really hope he doesn't do it. At 41, hasn't won a fight in 5 years, 6 brutal losses. Anyway, whatever you guys think, jump into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts.